Coming up next on NSEN. The high school football playoffs concluded last Friday. Stay tuned to get a recap of all the mid-state action.
Your Blue Raiders are headed to a well-deserved bowl after their exciting win against Old Dominion. We'll see how they stack up against the competition.
And we'll bring you the top 10 moments from this semester in Middle Tennessee athletics.
All those stories and more. NSEN starts right now. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Victor Benz.
And I'm Calvin Smith. Welcome to NSEN. The MTSU men's basketball team won their rematch with Florida Gulf Coast on Saturday, 81-76. This is the Blue Raiders' second consecutive win over the Eagles. Nick King continued to dominate Conference USA by scoring 32 points. FGCU was ranked as the 13th best mid-major team in the country per collegeinsider.com. The Blue Raiders will look to continue racking up big wins in their upcoming tour around the SEC in the next couple weeks.
Ooh, that's great for the men's basketball program, but the ladies basketball program, let's see how they're doing. The ladies rated basketball team started off the season hotter than coffee with 4 straight wins. They traveled to Oxford in hopes of making it 5 as they took on Ole Miss this past Wednesday. It was a family affair as Coach Rick Enzel went up against his son Matt, head coach for Ole Miss, for only the 4th time. It was raining threes early as MTSU dominated the first quarter. They held a 17-5 lead going into the second. Their potent offense continued surging in the second with Abby Sism and Jess Laura knocking down even more long-range shots. Despite the Lady Raiders' hot shooting, Ole Miss was still able to cut the lead down to single digits going into the half. In the second half, Ole Miss went on a hot streak of their own, converting 29 points while holding MT to only 11 points in the third. Alyssa Austin recorded 17 of her team-high 22 points in the period for Ole Miss. And Ole Miss would ultimately be too much for the MTSU Lady Raiders. Final score, 65-56. The Lady Raiders had little time to lick their wounds as they traveled to take on an even tougher opponent on the road, this time in ACC country, as they went down to Georgia to battle the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Going into the game, Tech had only lost 1 game on the season. Instead of generating momentum on the offensive side, the Blue Raiders took the defensive approach in this game to set the tone. Nearly half of the MTSU points came off of turnovers as the tough D forced all day long. However, the problem was MTSU were just as messy with the ball as they coughed it up 22 times. Late in the game, the Lady Raiders were down by 3 points, but Anna Jones missed the game-time three-pointer. Georgia Tech ended up winning this defensive bout with a final score of 48-45. Just Laura led all scorers for MT with 15, and Alex Johnson also chipping in with 13. And you know, MT was actually in battle earlier today at an early start at 11 a.m. as they beat Copen State by 69-39.
And today was actually Education Day out there at the Murphy Center.
They did teach them a thing or two on the court.
Speaking of schools, head coach Jim McGuire and the MTSU baseball team hosted the Murfreesboro City Schools baseball camp on Saturday. The event featured over 50 students ranging in age from 7 to 11. From 10 a.m. to noon, the young athletes participated in 5 different baseball skills stations, honing their hitting, fielding, throwing, base running, and pitching skills. Current MT baseball players volunteered as coaches to help teach the fundamentals of the game to the next generation. This exclusive camp was only for students in the Murfreesboro City School District, making this camp an excellent pipeline for the university and possibly a few talented young baseball players one day. Several attendees didn't have a glove, bat, or anything baseball equipment-wise, but that didn't stop them from improving their skills. MTSU was able to provide bats, gloves, and balls for players who didn't already have equipment. This was a great event for me to go out and see what our school is doing in the community.
Yeah, it was a great event, you know, seeing the baseball team out there showing the kids and everybody in the community just what they're made of and how much they're willing to give back to the campus and, of course, to Murfreesboro.
And still ahead on NSEN, Mr. Dupree will break down MT football's last regular season game and share with us the keys to winning the Camellia Bowl.
And also stay tuned for results of a wild weekend on the high school gridiron. Don't touch that clicker.
Why should you include avocados as part of your family's balanced diet? It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Number 1. Avocados fill you up. Avocados contain unsaturated fats, good fats your body needs to help with the absorption of key nutrients.
Me hungry right now.
Number 2.
Avocados are good for you.
Avocados are naturally cholesterol and sodium free, plus they contain nearly 20 vitamins and nutrients.
Me need vitamins and nutrients. And number 3, avocado delicious.
Try avocados in place of ingredients higher in saturated fat. Avocados taste great in sandwiches, salads, and even in baked goods like cookies.
Avocado cookies. This match made in heaven.
This is your new kitten, or your new puppy. Every day, 70,000 puppies and kittens just like them are born in the U.S. Cute, right? Well, what's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents. And when a kitten has a litter of oopsies and a puppy has a litter of uh-ohs, pretty soon you have thousands and thousands of OMGs. And that leads to millions of pets being killed in shelters each year. But if 80% of pet owners say they believe in spaying and neutering, then what gives? Well, it turns out those sweet little fuzzballs can get pregnant sooner than you think. A lot sooner. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. You just have to remember one number. 4, as in 4 months. When you bring home Maggie or Ruby or Puddle or Clyde, get them fixed at 4 months. It can be old enough to get pregnant, and it's definitely young enough to make a difference. Prevent more, fix at month 4.
Welcome back to NSEN. I'm Xavier Dupree, and welcome to X's with X. First things first, we're going to get it started by talking about the Conference USA Championship game. The Conference Championship was played between North Texas and FAU, where FAU went on to win 41-17. Devin Singletary had another great game, rushing for 164 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also, receiver Caleb Woods had 6 catches, 208 yards, and a touchdown. Both players helped contribute to FAU's 633 yards of total offense against the Mean Green defense. And now we're going to go ahead and look at one of those plays that helped Caleb Woods have that big day. Right here, the North Texas defense is going to have 8 men in the box coming up to commit to stopping Devin Singletary in that hour's rushing attack, which is going to leave man-to-man coverage on the outside with these receivers. Now, as the play runs, quarterback Jason Driscoll is going to play fake, drawing those linebackers in, and that leaves one-on-one coverage with your 6'4" receiver. Woods is going to run a little stutter and go, and as he stutters and goes, the cornerback doesn't bite, but it doesn't matter because Jason Driscoll makes one hell of a throw, only to where his receiver can get it, and Caleb Woods makes the catch. Now, moving on from the Conference USA Championship game to my MTSU Blue Raiders. MT will be playing in the Raycon Media Camellia Bowl against Arkansas State on December 16th at 7 o'clock Central on ESPN in Montgomery, Alabama. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Arkansas State. Arkansas State was 7-4 this season and 5-3 in the conference in the Sun Belt. They are led by their quarterback, Justice Hanson, who completed 64% of his passes, threw for 3,635 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 15 picks. The Red Wolves defense is led by defensive end Javon Roland Jones, who has 13 sacks on the year. And now we're going to go into some keys to the game for the Blue Raiders. The first key to the game is get off the field on third downs. The Red Wolves offense ranked second in the Sun Belt, converting on 45% of their third downs. The defense, man, look, y'all got to get off the field on third down so we get our offense back on the field. My second key to the game is Brent B. Brent. Brent Stockstill missed 5 games this year due to injury. We had ups and downs this year. John came in and did what he could, but now we got our general back. It's time for Brent to be Brent, baby. And my third key to the game is winning the trenches. When it comes down to any football game, the game is won and lost in the trenches. O-line and D-line, you have to step up. We have to be able to run the ball against this Red Wolves defense. And on defense, we have to stop the run. The Red Wolves are not good at running the ball, so we have to make them one-dimensional and make them throw the ball. And now we're going to go into some key injuries. Running back Tavares Thomas, or T-Time, is questionable with an undisclosed injury. Also, running back Brad Anderson is questionable with a leg injury. Arkansas State does not have any key injuries heading into the ball game. And that's all I have. Like I said, the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders will be playing in the Raycon Media Camellia Bowl against Arkansas State on December 16th on ESPN at 7 p.m. Central Time. I can't wait for this game. I'm hyped. At first, we didn't know if we were going to end up in a bowl game, but the luck of the Irish, we ended up in one. I'm ready to see our Blue Raiders play. Calvin, Vic, how do you guys feel about the game?
Thanks, Xavier. I think this is a great opportunity for the MTSU Blue Raider football program to continue their success. This is their third straight year going to a bowl game.
Yeah, it's definitely a good streak for the Blue Raiders to make it to a postseason bowl game. And, you know, what's even better about this game is the support that some of the alumni and coaching staff is giving back to the fan base. You know, we got Brent Stockstill. He bought $10,000. Let me say it again. $10,000 worth of tickets for students just because they weren't able to make it to the last game. Then we got some alumni football players like Atavius Mathers and Kevin Byer also chipping in to buy a couple more tickets.
Also, Philip Tanner and Benny Cunningham put in $500 each to get more students out at this game.
It's really amazing, you know, because like I said, it's just harder to get to the Bahamas and to Hawaii these last couple games.
Even though those are great spots to visit.
I would love to have gone. But, you know, with this one being so close just south of us in Alabama.
In Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery, Alabama to be exact. It's just great that, you know, not only are the fans able to drive or even fly to this game, but it's great to see that some of the players and coaches are even providing a way to get into the game. And next up on NSEN, find out which coach is out of a job in the high school world.
Also, find out how the Predators fared against an Original Six team in the Boston Bruins. Stick around, you won't want to miss it.
Everyone deserves to have a decent place to live.
Everyone.
Todos. When a future homeowner partners with Habitat for Humanity to build or improve a home, they build a better future for themselves and their families.
For my family.
Para po sa pamilya ko.
Por mi familia.
With a little help, we all have the potential to stand on our own. Through shelter, we empower. Visit habitat.org to provide help to families like these today.
Time is the one thing that we want more of as a St. Jude parent. Without the donors, I wouldn't have my Audrey.
El que St. Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
They take care of our housing. They take care of our food. In addition to the best medical treatment that my daughter could ever have. So it allows me to focus on my daughter and getting her better.
Your seat cushion can be used to grant wishes.
Who said that? Hello?
Really can, you know.
You talking to me?
Sure am. Because the airline miles you earn and donate to Make-A-Wish can help send thousands of kids on their wish trips. So donate to Make-A-Wish today.
You really should, you know. You really should.
And give wishes wings. Because wishes work wonders.
Welcome back to NSEN. I'm Camden Gathright.
And I'm Darius Horton.
With high school basketball underway, the Blackman Blaze will look forward to another dominating season. The Blaze have started the season undefeated at 8-0 and have been wreaking havoc on opponents. Their winning margin has been by an incredible 17 points each game. Blackman is led by senior guard Trenton Gibson as he averages 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists a game. Their next game will be against the 1-1 Shelbyville Central. The Blaze met Shelbyville earlier in Alabama and crushed them 67-15. Tip-off will be tomorrow at Shelbyville. Another news out of Blackman High. High school football coach David Watson was released after going 28-9 in 10 seasons with the Blaze. After the decision was made by Principal Dr. Lisa Justice, Watson was named interim head coach in March of 2015 and took the Blaze to the playoffs each year he was there. Under David Watson, Blackman finished the season 9-3 with 2 of their losses coming from Oakland High School.
There was more championship football played this weekend with local teams from the Mid-State. The Cane Ridge Ravens from Nashville took on the Maryville Rebels. This game was not close for the Ravens as they suffered defeat 42-7. Maryville is very experienced as they played in the championship game 16 times. Maryville forced Cane Ridge to 2 turnovers in the first 20 minutes of the game and didn't look back from then. After the game, senior linebacker Jashawn Bryan said, "Jared and I will be playing at the next level at Murray State, but we're going to be around this program as much as possible." Still ahead on NSEN, we're going to look back on a great year in MT Sports with our first ever top 10 moments from sports.
But first, did the Grizzlies' gruesome slump continue or did they finally get back on track? Stay tuned to find out.
I never imagined this would be your first home.
I feel powerless. I can't stop asking why us.
I just want to hug and kiss you and never let go.
This is the hardest thing we've ever faced. I know it's even harder on you.
You are my little fighter. We're here with you.
I believe in you. Just 4 simple words. But to a child in need, they mean the world. When you support a child through Save the Children, you're saying, I believe in you. Visit sponsor.savethechildren.org/believe today.
We cure 80% of children with cancer. If you think about that, I mean, go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. There's one thing we're focused on here at St. Jude, and that's beating this thing.
To pose, now sure. She makes the sun seem, makes me deep in the North Sea.
Welcome back to NSEN. Well, Kevin, pro sports are definitely in a full swing right now at the end of the calendar year, but it's just getting started in the season for a lot of pro sports.
Yeah, when was the last time we could say the Titans and the Preds were leading their divisions, or at least tied for the lead in their divisions at the same time?
I don't know. It's been a minute, but I know who might know. Xavier Dupree joins us right now for your pro report.
Thanks, guys. The Memphis Grizzlies came up short 116-111 against the Cleveland Cavaliers Sunday night at Quicken Loans Arena. After 7 lead changes, the Cavaliers outscored the Grizzlies by 18 in the second quarter to give them a 14-point lead at halftime. Memphis trailed by 11 with 6 minutes to go before going on a 13-2 run over the next 4 minutes to tie the game at 109. But the Cavaliers would hang thanks to 15 fourth-quarter points by that man LeBron James. The Grizzlies led by Tariq Evans with a season-high 31 points and also 12 assists. Jamichael Green added 16 points, and Marcus Gasol contributed with 27 points with his 10,000th point on a three-pointer with only 12 to go in the fourth. LeBron James scored 34 points and had 12 assists. Kevin Love added 20 points on 7 of 12 shooting from three. The Grizzlies will look to snap their 11-game losing streak against the Minnesota Timberwolves Monday night. And now we're going to move on to the NFL. The Tennessee Titans improved to 8-4 in the season and are 4-1 in the AFC South after they beat the 4-8 Houston Texans 24-13 on Sunday. After falling behind 10-0, the Titans cut the lead to 10-7 on Marcus Mariota's run on the 75-yard drive. The Titans rallied for 17 straight points to take a commanding 17-10 lead stretch on a 24-yard touchdown pass from Mariota to Delaney Walker with just 3 seconds left in the third quarter. The Titans cut the lead to 17-10 on a 42-yard field goal by kicker Camille Fairburn with under 5 minutes left. But in the final moments, the Titans quarterback LaShawn Sims intercepted the pass in the end zone. Running back Derrick Henry sealed the victory on a long touchdown run to seal the deal. The Titans will go on to battle the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday night at home. And that's all I have for your pro sports. We're going to take it on back over to the desk for their look at the Predators.
You're right, Xavier. And the Predators won a pretty good game last night against the Boston Bruins, 5-3.
Indeed, they did. A couple key players came up big in that game. Of course, I'm going to start off with the big guy in between the posts. Pekka Rinne came up with huge 37 saves on the night. And then who else we had? We had
Craig Smith scoring the first 2 goals in the game to get the Preds out to an early 2-0 lead. Philip Forsberg, Kevin Fiala, and Nick Bonino each chipped in goals in this effort.
Yeah, it was definitely a great night. And the Preds, with that W last night, actually got them tied for the division, first place right now. So shout out to the Predators right now.
The St. Louis Blues were leading the division and looked like a clear-cut top team in the NHL, but they've staggered down a little bit to third. But the Predators are filling in. They're playing their best hockey right now.
Definitely playing their best hockey. But the only dim light last night, Ryan Johansson, he missed his first game as a Predator. He had played every game up until then, so it's bad news, but hey, even he deserves a little rest.
But even though they lost Ryan Johansson right now, the acquisition of Kyle Turris has been huge for the Predators. It's going to give them that center depth with guys like Turris, Calle Yarncroke, Colton Sissons, Nick Bonino, so they can fill in at center and still win hockey games without their top line.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I can definitely see the Predators making a good stretch down the line to end this calendar year off great.
And it's been a great year here at NSEN and this semester at MTSU, hasn't it, Vic?
It definitely has. So we're going to actually take it to our first ever top 10 moments ever. Excuse me, not ever, of the year.
Don't miss that. Next.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Idle hands. They say they're the devil's workshop. But give idle hands a place to go, a purpose, and they're capable of amazing things.
From Iraq and Afghanistan, our brave warriors are coming home, wounded. Some with wounds you can see, some with wounds you can't see. Wounded Warrior Project was created to support our men and women coming off the battlefield. Please help carry these warriors the rest of the way home. Get involved at woundedwarriorproject.org.
It started with the original care package, and millions more like it, passed from hand to hand across land and sea to help survivors in the aftermath of war. As we grew, we found better ways to help those in need. Ways to make a real difference. Not just today, but tomorrow as well. Be the difference in people's lives. Help deliver lasting change at care.org.
And now, for our final segment of the semester, we have a special treat. Every member of our staff contributed to this segment.
We're bringing you the top 10 moments from this semester in MTSU sports. Kicking it off, of course, at number 10. The volleyball team's 4-game winning streak. The Blue Raider volleyball team struggled throughout much of the 2017 season, but however, they experienced one of the best 4-game stretches in many seasons, following a 5-win season the year before. The Blue Raider volleyball team caught fire to start the month of September as they defeated Troy in 4 sets, South Carolina State in straight sets, Morehead State in 4 sets, and Robert Morris in a 5-set thriller. In this one-week stretch, the MT volleyball team almost matched their win total from the whole season prior. Junior Reagan Coughlin had the hot hand during the streak as she recorded 51 kills during the 4-game stretch, while Dora Pinona also was a big-time contributor as she recorded 49 kills during the win streak.
You know, Vic, despite their struggles throughout the year, it was great to see them gather some momentum in September.
Definitely. You know, just because they didn't have an overall great season, you know, you can always look back on that for next year and just be like, we can build stronger and stronger each season.
And change the culture of that program.
That's what it's always about.
Coming in at number 9 on the list is the 4-0 start for the Middle Tennessee Lady Raiders basketball team. The Lady Raiders haven't gone 4-0 to start a season since 1995. No one on the Blue Raiders roster was even born yet the last time that happened. They traversed a long road, having to face teams like Vanderbilt, Tennessee Tech, Lipscomb, and UNC Asheville. They are now 4-2 after some crushing losses to both Ole Miss and Georgia Tech, but that shouldn't take away from the great start the 2017 season had.
The ladies are off to a great start. The men's basketball team is actually off to a great start. It's just a great start overall for the basketball programs here. Don't you agree, Calvin?
I do agree, and I think at number 8 we have another basketball one.
We indeed do. Coming in at the number 8 spot, Ja'Cory Williams signing a G League contract to the Canton Charge. The 6'8" star forward only played 1 season here at MT, but he quickly became a fan favorite. After having a stellar season for the Blue Raiders basketball team, which he led the team to its 2nd straight NCAA tournament berth, Ja'Cory played summer league ball for the Golden State Warriors. Not too long before the start of the season, Williams was signed by the Cleveland Cavaliers G League affiliate team, the Canton Charge. So big shout out to Ja'Cory for representing the Blue Raiders in the pro rankings.
Hopefully he can get called up to a NBA Finals caliber roster and maybe get a chance to play with LeBron James. That'd be something, wouldn't it?
He definitely has the talent. You know, he has the height to play forward and center, and he has the agility to even come out to the shooting guard position on occasion. So definitely be on the lookout for Ja'Cory, MC.
We saw that on display here in his 1 year at MT. Our number 7 spot highlights the play of an athlete close to MTSU and Titans fans alike. MTSU alumnus Kevin Byard is playing like one of the best safeties in the NFL this season. His 6 interceptions leads the Titans. The most notable part of his interception total is 5 of those picks came in just 2 games. He ranks 4th in tackles by a free safety with 67 and is ranked as the 3rd best safety in the NFL by Pro Football Focus. He was known for his ball hawking abilities during his time here at Middle. He had 19 career interceptions. 19.
He's definitely been a key component to Tennessee having such a great season so far, 8-4. He's definitely been all over that defense secondary.
On that much improved Dick LeBeau defense.
Definitely. Coming in at the number 6 spot, MTSU's men cross country team finished the season with their best record in school history. That's the NCAA champions. MT was led by Keegan Cheatman, who posted a 23rd place finish, the highest by a Blue Raider in school history. Jacob Chogue finished with a personal best 34th place, besting his 40th place finish last season. Chamadi's time of 29 minutes and 45 seconds was also a personal best. Samson Laurie's time of 30 minutes and 56 seconds was also a personal best. Amos and Jeffrey Tremont also contributed with a time of 31 minutes and 25 seconds and 35 minutes and 9 seconds overall. The Blue Raiders wrapped up the season with a 23rd place finish. So as you can tell, definitely not just the basketball and football programs. Our cross-country runners are definitely showing off amongst the country's best.
Cross country is a sport that doesn't get covered much, but if you perform, we're going to get you covered here on NSEN.
Definitely.
And starting off the top 5 is the Conference USA Freshman Soccer Player of the Year, Peyton DePriest. The freshman soccer forward scored 13 goals over 18 games. DePriest placed second in all of Conference USA in goals scored and points. It should be noted, DePriest played in 4 less games than the leader in the goals category, so she did more with less.
So it was definitely great to see them, but from one football field to another football field. Coming in at the number 4 spot on the list, we got MT linebacker Tavares Thomas's debut running back against Florida International. Thomas is a junior college transfer who spent the first 5 games of his season at linebacker. After reviewing tape of his running back days in high school, Coach Rick Stockstill made the call to give him some snaps at running back for the homecoming showdown against Florida International. And he did not disappoint. Thomas has only had 6 carries on the afternoon, but made the most of his opportunities as he took 3 of those carries into the end zone for scores. Thomas's role as a running back would expand later in the season as he had a career game against Charlotte, carrying the rock 29 times and running for 195 yards for 2 touchdowns.
He was a key part to getting the Blue Raiders to a bowl game this year, wasn't he?
At times, it was definitely looking like the offense, especially with Stockstill being injured early, the offense was struggling, so they needed a surprise X factor, and we definitely got that in Thomas this season.
And we're now venturing into the top 3. For the number 3 moment on the list, we hit the hardwood for one of the best and most clutch performances by an MT athlete this semester. Transfer Nick King scored 31 points on 12 of 16 shooting and grabbed 7 rebounds in MT's 72-67 win over Murray State on November 13th. King not only dominated the game with his scoring and rebounding, but he was also able to knock down a 20-foot jumper with less than 30 seconds remaining on the clock to give the Blue Raiders a 70-67 lead. Murray State proceeded to miss a 3-pointer with 2 seconds left to seal MT's win behind King's monstrous game.
You know, I was a little worried about bringing somebody as big as Nick King into this offense, but the chemistry has meshed well off the rip, if I must say so myself. He's been good offensively, and he's definitely been a hard worker on the glass.
And you never know what's going to happen when you bring in a guy who's played at Memphis and Alabama, like you mentioned.
Now we're going into the top 2 spot. Coming in at number 2 is MT's victory over Syracuse earlier this year. MTSU traveled north to Syracuse and won 30-23. Brent Stockstill threw for 269 yards, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. Richie James caught 8 passes for 96 yards and 1 touchdown. Ty Lee had 126 all-purpose yards with 1 touchdown. This gave the Blue Raiders their 2nd win over a Power 5 school in the past 2 years. Very, very, very impressive. It's been an evolving football team, an evolving program overall, and just to have a big win over a big team like Syracuse, it just shows it in one game.
Syracuse came in and knocked off Clemson. Clemson, the number 1 team in the country right now. Syracuse beat them.
So it's safe to say, don't you think that maybe we should be in the top 4? That's for another day's debate.
But we've made our way to the number 1 moment in Middle Tennessee this semester. The Middle Tennessee Lady Raiders basketball head coach Rick Insel's 300th win will top off our list of top 10 moments. The Blue Raiders faced the Vanderbilt Commodores for their regular season game. They were without star forward Alex Johnson after she hurt her ankle in the first quarter of the game. But that didn't stop them from getting a big dub for their head coach. Insel said he was very proud of his ladies for putting up a fight and getting the first win of the season. This only added to Insel's award list as of late. He was named to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame this past summer. This is crazy. 300 career wins over his tenure at MT. That's unprecedented.
A lot of head coaches don't even get to play 300 games at a particular program, and he managed to get 300 wins. So definitely we have some long tenured coaches, but that's definitely an accolade that has to be applauded and noted with the number 1 spot in our top 10.
Totally worthy of the number 1 spot.
Definitely.
But sadly, Vic, this is our last episode of the semester.
It's been such a great semester with you all at home. Thank you so much for everything that you provided for us. Without y'all, it's no us. Thank you for your Twitter mentions and everything. Calvin, it's just been such a great year working with you as well.
Thank you, Vic. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at NSEN__MTDN. Remember to tune in next semester, and everybody have a happy holiday season. I'm Calvin Smith.
For the last time, I'm Victor Benz.
Sleep tight, Murfreesboro.